The version 1.1 of Arknights Endfield released some new minerals and new stuff for you to do in the factory, right? We have, of course, new minerals, new way for you to refine these minerals. We have new tier in the tech tree as well that increases the number of forges that you can place in Wuling to make more Xiranite. We also have new ways to mine resources, refine these resources, and a lot of different stuff. All right, so this thing right here that you're looking is basically a mini hub that can make a little bit of everything. They are not super efficient. All right, for example, bottles, they are only working half of the time. You're going to notice that there's some stuff here that is always being clogged because we're not making full use of the powder right here. But that's not the point. The point is not to be super efficient. The point is just to have something that is going to work for you and produce everything that you need. All right, so if you just want the blueprint code, this is for the America server. I stopped playing in the Asia server. A lot of my friends and people that I know are playing in the America, so I just decided to throw away my account on the Asia server and make a new one on the America server. Okay, so this blueprint is going to work for the America server and is going to be available down in the description. But if you want to actually know a little bit, understand everything that we are doing right here, we are actually going to make everything from the scratch. Boom. We're going to delete everything and we're going to make everything from the scratch. Oh my god, I forgot. Okay, small issue. All right, we're back. We're going to make everything from scratch. All right, I already have the blueprint. Just a quick note is that the way I place my pipes in the blueprint is they are in the outside of the AIC factory, you see, but blueprints can only go in the AIC area. So because of this, you're going to end up making it like this. All right. You don't need to place the pipes outside of the map, the AAC area. It's just that you can place them outside of the AAC area, you know, and I kind of like to save some space. But if you're not making use of this space, there's no reason for you to try to cut down this area. All right. So before we begin, there are a few things that you need to know. Just a really basic AIC knowledge. I believe you already have some knowledge, otherwise you wouldn't be watching 1.1 video. You should have some kind of Xiranite production ready. You also need to have Jincao Stockade unlocked. For this, you need to start the 1.1 story quest. You also need the tier 2 of the Wuling tech tree. We also need to do the story quest in order to unlock these two. And then you're also going to have some Wuling AIC index, which is like the tech points that you use to buy some of these. So you need to explore the map a little bit, do a little bit of the 1.1 story, explore the map. And then once you have enough Wuling AIC, you are going to buy hydro mining, then liquid refining, water treatment unit, and lastly, as a bonus, you can get conduits. Everything else is kind of, well, forge is also really nice, all right? So pretty much forge is kind of your top priority, then hydro mining, liquid refining, water treatment unit, and lastly, you can go for conduit. The battle towers, these are also pretty good. Probably going to make a video talking about these two, because these two just make the tower defense and stuff that you need to do on every single outpost piece of cake. All right, so probably going to make a video talking about these two, but this is for another stuff. All right, in terms of factory production lines, these 4 right here is your top priority, and this, of course, to increase your Xiranite output, which is really, really nice, since you are going to use Xiranite for this part of the factory as well. All right, so the first thing that we're going to talk about is hydro mining, or pretty much Cuprium ore, and how you mine it. This is going to be available in Jincao Stockade. Okay, so you can see right here we have this mineral bed with Cuprium ore, and we also have this one right here that I didn't mine yet. So for mining Cuprium ore, you actually don't need power, but you need water. And at the end of the day, for you to get the water, you need power anyway, right? So here we still have like power right here with a Xiranite pylon, and then we have the water pumps that are going to bring the water all the way to these mining rigs, as you can see right here. Okay, so just so you know, technically each one of these can consume up to 1 water every 3 seconds, which means that a single pump, which gives you 1 water every 1 second, can feed up to 3 of these. But this is assuming that all of them are going to be on the high purity. You see right here, 1 every 3 seconds. If you take a look on the low purity, it's going to be 1 every 6 seconds. But since I don't want to just adjust the amount of water later, I highly recommend you to, when setting up this, just use 1 pump for 3 mining rigs. Okay, so here we have 2 pumps right there, 1, 2, 3, and then here we have another 1, 2, 3 mining rigs. So this is all you need to keep in mind when it comes to mining. Use one pump for 3 mining rigs and you're good to go. Placing pipes can be a little bit weird sometimes, so I highly recommend you to first place the splitter or anything, and then after this you start placing the rest of the pipes. Because this one, for example, it looks weird, alright, but it's actually connected. You can see right here that we have water, and water keeps coming in, alright. So I highly recommend you first place the splitters, or well, however you want to place them, right? And then after this, you place the remaining of pipes, and there you go. They are going to be connected, and they are going to be working. Okay, so after you start mining Cuprium, and now you have Cuprium ore available in your AIC, in your system, you also need the liquid refining in order to start refining this Cuprium ore into something else. Okay, unlocking the liquid refining is going to give the refining unit, something that we've been using for a really long time, the ability to process stuff using liquid as well. Just like we have the planting unit, and well, you can turn it off if you just wanted to work as the default refining unit, yada yada yada. To process Cuprium ore, you need the refining unit to be in the liquid mode, and you also need to provide, of course, water as well. If you just place the Cuprium ore right here, nothing's going to work. If you turn it off, it's also not going to work. So you really need to put in the fluid mode and then drop some water inside of it. Boom, there you go. We're now processing everything. We're having water being transformed into sewage, and then we're also getting the Cuprium refined right here. The problem is that this sewage needs to go somewhere. There's a limit on how much you can stock right here, and once it gets all the way to 50, it's over. The machine is going to be clogged, and you're going to stop making Cuprium as well. We don't want to stop making Cuprium. We really want this one. So how do we deal with this waste? You could simply, well, place a bunch of fluid tanks here, and then just, let me, put everything here inside of this one. Once this is full, well, yeah, we'll just put in another one. Don't do this, all right? There are better ways for you to handle the sewage, all right? So how do we handle this? You unlock the water treatment unit. The water treatment unit is going to be available, and you can simply throw this here. And basically what this machine do, it burns the sewage into nothing. Really, it doesn't even become water, anything. It just becomes nothing, right? There's nothing for you to do right here. So basically, this is going to consume 1 sewage every 2 seconds, and this is also producing 1 every 2 seconds. So at the end of the day, for every refining unit, you want to use 1 water treatment unit, right? This is the most basic setup. That's it. You already have a steady source of Cuprium right here, and then you can use to make other stuff that you want. Just for example, Cuprium parts that you're going to use to make a lot of different things. Oops, that's not the button that I want to press. It's this one here in the corner, right? So you have like new syringe, new tea, the Cuprium components that you're going to be using to make new gears that were unlocked on this patch, and some other machines as well, including the hydro mining rig that you need to mine more Cuprium in the map. Now, there is a better way for you to use sewage, actually. It's not meant to just go straight up into a water treatment unit, because you can actually produce Xircon, which is a new mineral, kind of a new mineral, that produces a new battery that is really, really strong. I'm talking about a battery, let me see, I have right here, this one right here. SC Wuling battery. This gives you 3.2 this gives you 3200 power, which is double the amount of one LC Wuling battery. It is really, really strong, right? But it requires the Xircon right here, which has a lot of processing for you to do in order to get this one. Okay, but just keep in mind that there's something you can do with the sewage. They are not just straight up going into the water treatment unit. They are actually going to be processed in the reactor right here, because as you can see, you're going to use sewage with liquid Xiranite to produce Xircon effluent, and also the inert Xircon as well. This one's completely waste. This one has no use at all, at the very least right now in the version 1.1. So this one can straight up go into a water treatment unit for you to discard it. There's no use for this. Okay. But sewage, as you can see right here, is going to have some use. It's going to become the Xircon right here. And then when producing Xircon, like the actual material, you're also going to be producing a little bit more extra sewage as well. Right? Basically, you're consuming 2 to produce 1. it's weird, but that's how factory games usually work. We're going over everything, all right? So let's just delete everything here, right? You already understand that for every refining unit, you want one water treatment unit, but at the same time, you can also use the sewage to something else. I'm going to do everything from the scratch instead of just using the blueprint, all right? But, well, you can, of course, just use the blueprint if you want to. Basically, let's start with a bus right here, because this is going to give us access to the AAC, and, well, I also like to use the other side as well, so I like it to place like this. And then let's start placing some unloaders right here. We need this space right here, because, well, pipes can go above the unloader without an issue. The problem is when you're going to be placing this splitter, for example. You see, splitters cannot go on top of unloaders. So we always leave one space right here. So this way you can just place it like this. Okay, and it's really important that one pipe can sustain up to 2 pumps at the same time. So this is why I always do it like this. Have pump, pylon into another pump. And these two together, they are always going to be on the maximum water output right here, which is 2 per second. And every single refining unit, they are going to consume 0.5 water per second, or 1 water every 2 seconds. So a full pipe like this with two pumps, they can sustain up to 4 refining units, which is why we just use 4 right here. Okay, connect this last one right here. Everything else here is already connected. Okay, and then we just need to deal with the waste. All right, so now all of them have the water, have the cuprium as well being fed into them. Now we're going to be placing some different machines right here. A molding unit as well. That is going right here. This is how I decided to set up my stuff. You don't need to do this way, all right? I just doing like this because, well, I like to save some space, but I also like things to be nice looking. So it's a little bit of both, you know? So, and here we're going to have a loader. The reason why I have this loader right here to take an extra bit of cuprium is because there is a recipe that we actually have access to, but there's no use for it yet. I believe that we're going to find a use for this in the version 1.2, which is this one right here. We can shred cuprium into its powder, but there's no use for it. It says can be used to produce other items, however, there's no use yet. So here we have 2 units making cuprium parts because, well, we're going to be using a lot of this, and just 1 making bottles. You're not going to be using bottles that much, but it's still important. At the very least, in the beginning, you're definitely not going to be using this one. There's no reason for you to be super efficient with your molding units, all right? And then at the end, we're going to have a protocol stash right here that is just going to store everything for us. I know that I said in my first video that, for example, I don't like mixing up things in a single protocol stash. However, have plenty of use for the parts. In the case things in the clogging, because, well, you capped on parts now, you can just sell them in the outpost. As I said, this is meant to be just a really early base for you for your 1.1. Okay, so then we just feed all of this into the proper machines. This last one will go into a loader back into AIC. Now it's time to power up everything. Put a pylon here and another one here, and there you go. Now we have all the 4 machines are going to work. We just need to find a way to deal with the sewage. So the reason why we have this space right here is because we can just place the converger and splitters as well. So we can put a converger right here into another one right here. Okay, so just connect the sewage from this one into this one. This one goes here, and this one goes here. And this is where I decided to use an outlet, this one right here, the conduits, instead of just having the pipe go over here, because I decided to process everything here on this side. All right, perfect. So here we have a full pipe of sewage going into the inlet. Right here we have a full pipe of water, everything working. Well, kind of, because we still don't have a way to actually process this stuff right here. It also has a capacity, and once this is like capped out, goodbye, everything is going to clog because there's no output for the sewage. And now we need a reactor to make the liquid Xiranite. And then on top of this, we also need another reactor to then use the liquid Xiranite and sewage to produce the Xircon components that we're going to use. So what I decided to do is kind of simple. Well, let's just make Jincao solution as well for the potion, you know, the one that can be sold for the outpost and you can also use in your operators. So this is the one that you're going to use and produce everything at the same time. For the... what's the name of the thing? For the Jincao solution, we are of course going to need Jincao powder, and for this we need, of course, planting unit, which is going right here. And we also using another one, seed picking unit right here. All right, so pretty default stuff. This one connects here, this one connects here. And then, of course, we need the powder only. We don't use the plant itself. So we also need a shredding unit. So this connects here, and this goes here. Pretty simple. All right, in the seed picking unit, we just place some of this. And here, of course, we need to split the water. Where is it? Logistic. I always get confused a little bit on where something is here. All right. So when you see me flying through the menus, it's because I'm trying to find where something is. All right. So, and there you go. Everything now is powered up. This is going to give the seeds. Planting unit is going to produce the 2 Jincao, which then one goes in the shredding unit, the other one goes and becomes more seeds. All right, and here we have the water and the Jincao powder. They are going to be able to produce the Jincao. They're going to be able to produce the Jincao solution. There you go, right here. Okay, and then what else we're going to need is Xiranite. For Xiranite, we're just going to put a depot unloader right here. We set to Xiranite. That's why I said that you need to have Xiranite somewhere else. So you select this one, place it here. Now Xiranite is going to enter here and be able to produce liquid Xiranites as well. So all the 5 slots being used, we have the Jincao to produce the potions and everything. We have the Xiranite that is going to be used for the Xircon production. So now we just need to find a way to route all of these liquids, right? Because once again, you cannot place the splitters, for example, right here on top of the depot bus, but you can simply pass your pipe without an issue here on top of the depot. The only thing that you cannot do is place splitters, bridges, or anything here. Now that we have the liquid Xiranite, we also need the sewage to be available on this side, which is why we have a conduit right here. So we have an outlet right here, and then we're also going to have another reactor right here. So I like placing a fluid tank right here, because this way we have some kind of buffer for the reactor. You know, just in case sewage decides to stop, or you are moving things around and now you don't have any more sewage, this reactor is still going to work thanks to this fluid tank right here that is still going to be providing the sewage for the reactor to work. All right, so for now, let's just connect these 2 right here. And then, of course, we also need the liquid Xiranite. For the liquid Xiranite, what we're going to do is start from here, go over here, and we're going to do this all the way to here, okay? And then you need to set the output right here, okay? It's not going to automatically go out just because, oh, you connected right there. The game doesn't know that what you want to bring over there. So you need to go over here. Oh, I selected the wrong one. The Xiranite is going all the way to this machine. One thing that I forgot to do, connect the outlet. So let's just move outside of the top view. Then you can just connect these 2. Now they are connected. You can see right here, sewage being available right here. See, it's working already. It's consuming the sewage, consuming the liquid Xiranite as well, and it's producing inert Xircon and the Xircon liquid as well. There's no reason for you to use the inert one, so we're just basically going to connect this right here. Okay, and then we're just going to set this output right here. You can see the arrows moving. This is why I always do one at a time, because this way you can just see the arrow moving and then you know which one we're going to select. There you go. This is always going straight up here because there's no use for this one. So goodbye, no waste. And this can continue working over and over because this here is going to find some use. This is the one that just goes straight up to nothingness. And then we're going to need another reactor crucible that goes right Oops, that's not where I want it to be. Goes right here. So for this one, we need ferrium powder. For ferrium powder, you just need to refine and then shred the ferrium ore. All right, so we just put a refining unit right here into a shredding unit right here, depot access, depot unloader, ferrium ore. This connects right here, this connects right here, and this goes inside here. One thing that I need to do, don't forget to change this into the normal mode, otherwise it's not going to process anything because there's no formula with ferrium and any liquid to become anything. Pylon right here to power everything, and you see refining unit is going here into the shredding unit that is going to enter right here. For this, we're still going to use the Xircon effluent, right? And this one is coming out of here. So now we just set up the output, the other one, into this one. And as you can see right here, it's already working. It's producing more sewage again. And now this is why this doesn't work the way that I was thinking, because, well, you need to find a way to balance everything, right? Remember when I said that you need one water treatment unit for every single one of these? Yeah, you still need the water treatment unit right here, because this is not consuming as much sewage as this one. And at the end of the day, we're still producing one. Okay, so this is why there was such a mess here with pipes. I don't think you want to know exactly how I did this or why I did this, but I'm going to explain anyway. Okay, so here, let's start with the output of this one right here. This is going to be our output of sewage. Before this ends up clogging, let me also do this right here. We have a depot loader, and then we just select this one, and we want this to move out. All right, so this is the mess of pipes that you can see right here. Like the leaves are even hiding one right here. This is a splitter, by the way. All right, but the way that this is work is because it always gives priority for the reactor crucible to be able to put the sewage in the fluid tank. All right, so this is never going to clog because, oh, we have too much sewage and now it cannot go into the fluid tank. No, this is always going to give the priority to the fluid tank for this sewage right here. All right, and then if the fluid tank is full, all right, let's see right here. All right, the moment that this is full and, oh, there's nowhere else for the sewage to go, then it goes all the way to this side right here and it gets into the water treatment. And this one right here, which is like the main source of sewage right here, this is going all the way here in the top and it's getting split. This is why we're giving like some room for this one to be able to get into the tank. You see, because right here we have like 2 units per second. See, capacity at the maximum. The moment that we split this right here in the top, half of this is going to this side and half of this is going to this side. So right here now we have space for the sewage right here to enter the pipe, and this goes into the tank. Tank is full, then this goes into this side, and it joins with all the extra sewage that we had right here. You see, it is a mess, I know, but it's just a way to balance everything and let this pipe right here have some priority in the line. It works, trust me. All right, so if it works, it works. It looks a mess, but it works. If you actually didn't want to know about how it works, I'm sorry, I just like explaining things, I guess. All right, we're still missing the liquid, the Jincao solution, right? So we need to use the Jincao solution, and we need to find a way to actually pass them through the mess when, well, you cannot make a bridge right here or anything, right? So the way that we do this, see this is space right here? We make a bridge right here, and then we go back into this side. It is ugly, I know, could be much better, but hey, it's kind of compact and I like it, even though the pipe itself doesn't look that nice. Okay, so we can just go over here and then we set up this to be the Jincao solution. Jincao solution is really easy for you to handle because it's really just go into a filling unit, and we need this with the bottles. So I'm going to place it right here. We're going to have an unloader right here in this corner. We're going to set for bottles. Oops. The way that I set the blueprint was a little bit more to this side. Because we also need the packaging unit right here. Depot access, unloader, and the loader right here. The unloader is going to set 4 parts. Where are they? Right here. So connect this into this and this right here. And now we just finish it up, power it up with an electric pylon. There you go. Perfect. You see everything power up, so you're producing already a little bit of everything. The only thing that, of course, we're not processing right here is the Xircon that we're producing right here. And to process the Xircon to make the batteries, we're going to need, let me just put some depots right here because we're going to use them. All right, so for this, we're going to need 5 unloaders. And for these 5 unloaders, we're going to use shredding units. 1, 2, 3. Why we're placed right here? I don't know. It's fine. And then these other 2 goes here. Right, and then we also need the grinding units. This is the one that processes everything. There you go. So this one goes here, this one goes here, and then this goes here, this goes here, this goes here, this goes here. And for this, we're just going to set as original ore. This one is going to be set up as sand leaf. I just do it like this because it's faster. Copy, paste, paste, paste. Beautiful. And then we just place an electric pylon right here. Everything is now powered up. And at the end, we just need a packaging unit that is going to take this and this. And right here, we're going to put an unloader as well. That unloads the Xircon that we're making. I'm pretty sure the actual pronunciation is going to be Xircon or something. But anyway, I think that I said enough Xircon through the entire video. So it is what it is. And now here at the end, we're just going to place a loader. So this is working in half of the efficiency, which means we can still do this thing right here. We can place a power bank right here and put a splitter. Boom. Because this is producing 1 battery every 20 seconds. So this means that, and this consumes 1 battery every 40 seconds. So you can have 1 thermal bank right here working, and you can still stock some batteries in your depot in case you can use, or you need to use them later. All right, so this way you still have power and you're still going to have batteries in your depot. So this is the hub. Everything here is connected. This is the exact same hub that we had in the beginning of the video. All right, I know this took a little bit too long, but I hope this could explain to you everything that I did right here. Could you help you understand a little bit of why I did this or why I decided to not do something? And you can use all the extra space that, well, this factory still remains here to do something else, all right? Feel free to play a little bit, do something fun, or I don't know, all right? The playground is yours. The factory system is pretty good. I really like it. If you still have any questions, all right, if something here was confusing, if you had some issues with the blueprints, also just let me know in the comments. You can also just join the Discord server. The link is down in the description. Just mention me, okay, just ping Muzzy and then say, hey, the blueprint's not working. Can you fix this? And I'll do my best to fix it, all right? I don't mind getting pinged. I think that's all for the video. I want to talk about the weapons as well, the turrets, but this is going to take extra time and the video is going to be longer than it already is. So let's just leave it like that. I realized that I forgot to set up a space to also make the Cuprium component. So this is not a complete base right here, but in the blueprint code, I also going to include a Cuprium component production line right here or somewhere around here. Probably going to make it produce on the half of the speed, just because otherwise you're not going to have extra parts for you to produce some of the other facilities that you can produce. Point is that you're going to have everything being produced, everything's going to be working for you. So even if you just paste this blueprint and say, I'm going to take a break and come back in 1 week, you're going to have a little bit of everything ready for you. And that's the whole point of this blueprint. That's the whole point of setting up this way, a little bit of everything. All right, so yeah. Thank you so much for watching this video. Hope this video could help you understand a little bit of everything that we got in the version 1.1 of Arknights Endfield. And remember to give it a like in the video. It really helps the channel. And if you want more Endfield content, subscribe to the channel because I'm trying to cover Endfield more and more. You can also jump on my Twitch or just watch my live streams on YouTube. I'm trying to stream a little bit more in my free time, doing a little bit of story quests, just exploring the map or just chilling a little bit. I really like to talk a lot. You probably notice from how much I talk in this video. But yeah, that's it. Have a good day, good night, wherever you are. See you next time.